Hey guys, so today we're going to add a little mountain, a little landscape to the back of our um, isometric house design here. The idea being that, we're going to create this thing that's definitely not a perfect, square base, but it sort of fits inside a square. We've got this little cap of the mountain that's going to be kind of our starting point here, and I'll show you kind of how to create this here. So I'm just going to make everything invisible for now, and I'm going to bring up my grid, and let's get in kind of close here so we can see, kind of what we're looking at. I'm going to, basically, this is going to be a bit bigger than the other things we've made, so I might be a little zoomed out. So if you're doing this, get to where you're comfortable. And I'm going to make a design that's as square as I can possibly make it. So let me just click on this, and I'll just make this, I'll make the top first here. So I'll just, here. First off, let me get to my fill off. I'll make my stroke black for now. Fill off, and let's continue on here. See if I can't even this up. Okay, oops, didn't quite close it. All right, and let me just even things out here. I want to say this is not quite even. So pull this back to where it evens out with so this one right here. All right, that's good. And then we'll see if we can't get this one even as well. Pull out one more. Even moved over one here. Nope, not quite. I don't think this is even. All right, so it's a little harder when you're doing this from far away. That looks about right. Everything's following the line here. All right, so by doing that, I'll just deselect it and select book on it, and then I'll just right-click, transform, rotate, and I'll rotate this. Let's think here, 60 degrees. I want to say. Okay, and I'll copy that. Then I'll just drag this down to meet up here. I'm getting close. Okay. Then I'll just deselect, select it again, right-click, transform, reflect, and I'll copy that. And I'll just move this over here. Now this should be pretty even because we made it as square as we possibly could. Okay, cool. And so obviously what you want to do now is you just, this really isn't super important to get exactly right. So we'll just leave it here for now if it's not exact, because we're going to leave these are just our little guidelines here. Now at the top here on this little top surface, I'm going to make this little box. I'm just going to make another little square here. So I'll make it 4x4, 2x2 here, like so. I'm going to make this one pretty exact. That's all right. And what we'll do is we'll just hold down Shift and select both of these. Oops. Let me get my move tool here, select tool. Just hold down Shift and select both of these here. So we get them both selected. And what we'll do is we're going to align this to a key object, and we'll choose this as the key object. I'm going to center it both horizontally and vertically. And if you do that right, if this is square, if this is like, true, then it will, align to the grid once you've got that done. So it's in the center. All right, now essentially what we're doing is we're going to be kind of moving off the beaten path, as it were. We're not going to be going straight along with the line. Some of you guys have been doing that with some of your designs, and that's fantastic. But for this, we're just going to primarily, and we're going to work our way down. We're going to start from the top and work our way down. So I'm just going to start with like the peak, and I'm just going to create this little shape here. Once again, I'm not going to follow any of the lines here. I'm just going to kind of move off the lines a little bit. I might intersect just at the shall we say, intersection of the grid, but beyond that, I'm not going to do a whole lot. So first off, let's make a little snowy peak. We're just going to go down, maybe off to the side a little bit, come up a little bit. Again, I'll intersect on the grid here, and then maybe down another little bit. And we can move these when we want, if we want to, later on. And I'll just kind of pull that up a little bit. And just, obviously you just think about the way you want your mountain to look. And we'll make this little shape here. This will be our first little snowy peak. We'll do the same thing to the other side here. I'll go down a bit, say like so. Let me meet up there. Go down some, up a little bit, and then meet down there. And so we'll make sure we close all the paths out. All right. So this is our first little snowy peak, as it were. All right. So with that done, let's make the first side of the mountain. We'll just sort of come down here. We'll click off this, control click, and then we'll just click down. In fact, I might even want to make it as big. Well, I'll start down here. And I'll see if I can't continue that line straight down. And if you wanted to, for example, start up here, you could, and sort of follow the line straight down. All right. And I'll kind of go down a little bit, and I'll just kind of come out some as well. And let me get my direct select tool here. And I'll just grab this and see if I can't keep it lined up. So that way it doesn't come off. All right, doesn't interfere. So I'll continue this on. I'll just I'm going to draw first. I'm going to draw one shape that extends up and meets up here, and then I'll draw another shape next to it to make a little crag, make a little break of the mountain here. So just click up here, a little guide, and we'll just kind of go straight up some, maybe right about there, and we'll click out. So like this. All right, great. And then we'll continue on by clicking off this and maybe making this little shelf. We'll go straight out like this, and get rid of that. I made an extra stray mark that I didn't need here. Let's again come out this way, and we'll just sort of connect it up like maybe right about there. And at first, this is going to look a little bit difficult to kind of ken. It's going to look a little bit difficult to understand, but it'll make sense towards the end here. I'm actually going to take this little point here, and I'm going to see if I can't pull this off the grid some, so it doesn't look like it's too terribly matched up with the grid. It's going to be difficult to kind of maneuver around here. Anyways, oops. So let's click up here, and we'll go straight through it, trying to get a match up maybe right about here. So again, we want to make sure we're not going past that line here. And we'll just go connect straight down and just follow the lines to where you close the shape up. Click every anchor point, as it were. And what we'll do, we'll just click up here, and then we'll just take our direct select tool and drag this whole thing down to where it connects. All right, cool. All right, and we'll do the same thing to this side. We'll start on this side here. We'll do the same thing. We'll have this little shelf kind of hanging out here, and this will be the sort of sunny side and the dark side over this side. So let's start off kind of like just in the middle here, and just think in terms of like how this is facing. So this is gonna we'll start right here. Maybe start right here, and we'll just click down here. And we could even pull this inwards. We can pull this upwards. It's fine. The whole idea is that we're just using the square to think about our borders at this point. I'll just go straight up, and maybe I'll match it up right about there or so. Get to the anchor, and great, it's closed up. All right, very cool. And then we'll do the same thing here. We'll just take this same little shape here. We'll just control click off, and then we'll click here, maybe go straight out, maybe a little bit down. And we'll connect right up to the edge of the line there. And then we'll keep that going, control click off, and we'll just sort of click here, make another line kind of going upwards a bit, so we'll see like this is kind of going uphill some, and we'll click up here, maybe right about there or so, and we'll connect all the lines just to make sure that we're closing up all the shapes. We'll do another little shelf, click off this, go straight out, connect up right about, say, almost here, almost at the top. And again, if it's not exactly like mine, that's okay. It's going to be hard to make it exactly like mine because you're sort of randomly placing shapes. And we'll just sort of connect this maybe up to the grid, like so, and connect it down, making sure we're hitting all the anchor points. My direct select tool here, and we'll just pull this down to where it matches up, and making sure this doesn't go off the trail here, off the oops. See if they can get this to continue on. All right, that's probably good. Okay, Now we've got this first part here. Let's see if we can add some color. So you want to think about your color scheme, you want to think about your baselines. I'm going to start up here and I'm going to make this not white. I'm going to make this as light gray as I possibly can, just so I can see where it is. So that's we'll have this be the lightest portion, this sort of snowy peak here, and we'll do the same thing here. We'll take this, we'll just make it 1 down like that, and we'll make this one, say, 2 down from the left. Right, so we've got lightest, lighter, light, dark, darker, and then darkest. And we'll do the same thing over here. We'll take this, we'll make this a bit darker too. I'll take this right here, and I'll just fill this up with, say for instance, somewhere around here maybe. So the scene where the K equals 50, the black is 50, and we'll just do that the same thing. Say like right here for this one. Okay, 50, 40, 50, and same one right here. And maybe the same thing right here. And I'll just eyedropper that. All right, and so for the ones that are facing the opposite direction, we'll make these a bit darker. So I'll take this, and I'll just hold down Shift and select all these shapes here. Make sure they're all highlighted, and I'll just make those, instead of 50, say 70. And now what we'll do is we'll just select everything here, minus the square. And we will take the stroke off. And let's see how that looks without the grid. Alright, that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good, right? And let me just zoom in a little bit here, making sure I have everything, I don't have any gaps here. So I'll just take this, let me get my direct select tool. Where's my anchor point at? Okay, so as I look for this, obviously you can continue filling in your own mountain here. What's going on here? What is this? Oh, I see. There's a weird little cut here. That's interesting. Let me just take my scissors tool and just kind of get rid of this for now. These intersect. Let me do the other one right here. I'm getting close. That. Okay, oops. That's fine. Alright, good. Alright, and so we'll just take this, put it back where it was. Alright, great. Okay, cool. That's looking better. And what's this right here? What is this? Let's just get rid of this as well. Alright, cool. And so just make sure there's no gaps. Make sure there's nothing, you can't see anything here. And we'll just join that up. And same thing here. We'll see if we can't join these up to this side. Alright, and great. Okay, cool. So you can kind of see what we're looking for. We're looking for this the idea that we've got the light side, the dark side, and basically all these little cracks kind of add some flavor to it. Now, I'm going to just kind of run through this, and you can, I'll be giving some commentary, but obviously you can just do your own thing at this point. I'm going to make a sort of a base of the mountain. The base is going to go extend all the way down here to the edge. But I'm going to make some different kind of like adjustments here and there. So just you know, kind of go where the inspiration takes you here. And first off, I'm going to take my fill off, and I'm going to put my stroke back on just so I can see the lines while I make them, and I'll make some decisions later on. So yeah, just you know, if you want to just sort of speed through this, you can. If you want to make this you know, make this your own little thing, you can. So I'm just going to start making some little shelves here. First off, I'll make a little vertical shelf. Oops. I see, and it closes out. Okay, alright. So there we go. Now, once again, take my fill off. Okay, I'll start here. So like, we'll kind of have this be the little divide here, and we'll just make this make a little shelf, as it were. And I'll just make this kind of crag around here until I get to like maybe yay distance, and I'll just. And you don't want it to go all the way to the edge this way. You want the edge to be down here. You want it to kind of have a place to go. So you don't want it to be too terribly far. And I'm going to get my. You can get the grid on or off if you want. It's really up to you. At this point, we're just going to be connecting everything here. This is a. Not sure what happened here, but I'll just make a new shape just to. All right, and then we'll just take the stroke off here. Stroke off. All right, great. Okay, so just control click. And so we're just going to continue on here. Let me just add another point here to this. Join those together. All right, so that's a little shelf here. We'll continue kind of adding to this. We'll have this go down. I might just take these guys here and sort of pull them inside a little bit just to make them. So once again, just to give us a place to go. All right, and then what we'll do is we'll just kind of continue adding to that. Let me just take my pen tool back, control click, and I'll just start by forming the base here, and I'll have the base kind of go down to the edge, right about there, and then we'll sort of continue filling this in. And I'm just going to make I'm going to make room for some different sort of shapes to go inside here and there, and I'll just end it right about there, maybe a little bit further in, right about here. And just once again, you got to make sure that you close all the shapes, having everything connect. Make this kind of pull down a little bit more, make it look as if it's an actual sort of like cut in the rock. All right, we'll have these joined together here. Tool, boom, go down some. All right, and we'll continue on this side here. So even though this is not necessarily connected to the crossing the corner, we can still sort of like envision where the different sort of rises and falls of this are. So I'll just pull this out and sort of make a little shelf here. And oops. All right, control click. And we'll just add a new shape. We'll make the base up here. We'll make this a sort of a shape up here. All right. Continue just adding on surfaces where you think they should go. It's always helpful to say, add another little crag if you're not really sure, because the more facets you add in, the better. The more, I wouldn't necessarily say realistic it looks, but certainly the more interesting it looks. Just adding in more stuff. I'm going to make this guy go uphill, so I'll just have this connect over here. Maybe come right there. Come out a little bit. Down some. Downhill. And connect. And then we'll have this go to the edge. Control click off that. Come down here to this side. And you notice I'm not really even using my grid at this point. It's pretty simple. We'll have this go up to right about there. And make sure that you're connecting all the different anchor points that you have here. There's good. The direct select tool, I might pull this out some more. About there. And hopefully this is going to make sense once we put the shade on there. And it's looking kind of abstract right now, but get off that, and we'll pull this straight down there, making more crags as we go. Actually, what we'll do is this. Actually, let me just delete this real quick. Make it this right here. I'm going to connect this right about, say, there. Same thing here. I'll pull this right about here. I'll just maybe even pull this down to the bottom edge here, just so we can kind of have something touching each edge of our sort of base shape. All right, now, here's the, this is a moment of truth. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to start adding in, we're just going to start filling in the colors using our eyedropper tool. So just think about where the different planes fall. Now in this case, we have this little top area here. This is going to be a bit shaded, and this is going to be a bit brighter than everything else. So I'm just going to click on, I'll click on this thing first here. Let me see if I can select this. And I'm going to eyedropper this shade, but I'm going to make it just one touch lighter. And then everything else, I'm going to sort of just kind of go along with what I already have. So I'll eyedropper the shadowed side for this one. Maybe even make it one lighter. And then just so there's a difference between these two sides. Same thing here. We'll just go over here and we'll make this the same side as the shaded side. We'll make this the same shade as the lighted side. This right here will be the same side as the lighted side. Same deal here. And then we might make this even brighter down here just to give it there's more in the sun. Okay. This could be a bit brighter as well, kind of facing the light as it were. And this could be a bit darker, so I make this just a touch darker. This could be the same shade here. Make this the dark shade, the sort of random shadow shade, and then that's about it. All right, cool. Then we get a little bit closer here just to make sure everything matches up. So for instance, right here, I'll just grab this, pull it up, grab this right here, and pull this up as well. All right. Okay, great. So if you look back at this, you can kind of see we've got this little mountain. Now, obviously, you can add little rocks to it if you wanted to. I'm just going to get rid of all this right here. Move tool here. All right, select tool. All right, so there's a little mountain. That's fun. That's a cute little mountain, and we'll just we can just add that to the background. You can shrink it down to a certain degree. I'll just put this up here so it's above my sort of background here, and I can pull the background back up and put my house back up, and oops, house here, and let me just select all this stuff in this layer, and I'll just Control G to group it together, and that way I can just sort of move it around at will. And you can put that in the background, you can put that in the foreground, you can put that in the corner, you can put that wherever you want, just to have it just sort of sitting there. So for instance, this person here made his little shop. He built his little shop right next to a tiny little mountain that has a little snowy peak on it. So I thought that was a fun little addition there. Got the idea from a mobile game that I saw, and yeah. So this is the kind of stuff that you build on, right? And you can start off real simple with these geometric shapes, and you can move on to something a little more complicated like these mountain shapes here. And it's a lot of fun just to explore what you can do with this sort of technique. Well, all right, guys, you have a good time designing, and I cannot wait to see you guys produce. And here we go.